adjust my webcam. Things are looking goofy here. All right. Hello, friends and fellow gamers. I'm That Zero, and today we are back to chat on some more Last Cloudia. And today we are going to be playing Doctor with a man by the name of Icy. How you doing, Icy?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So I have your account pulled up here. So hopefully you can see all that. And yeah, let's just start with what kind of questions do you have or goals before we actually start looking through what you have and trying to solve some problems.
Oh, great. Well, actually, I have some kind of an issue with this account. Sometimes when you get to a certain part of the game, you just don't know what to do,
Yeah,
right? You cover like a whole bunch of content, and then you do some arena, and you don't know exactly where your account is at. What should I focus next? Where should I go?
sure.
Is what I have optimal? So
Great.
that's where I would like to start. If there's a big mistake I'm making, there are some bosses I can't kill, so that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You mentioned before we got on here that you had some general questions that maybe you already know the answers to, but you have some other friends that maybe could use some insights and things. So we can go ahead and get those out of the way right away if you'd like.
Right, sure, that's great. Okay, so the first question that I would like to ask you in regards to that is, once you're done with the campaign, right? You're basically reliant on the events to move forward, right? To get your crystals and whatnot. Um, so during this downtime, right, that you're waiting for new things to come,
Yeah.
what is a good idea for me to start maximizing my secondary units or the units that I can get some more future proofing?
Yeah, so a few different things. So one of the only other sources beyond, once you're through campaign and you've gotten all the crystals out of there, in between another resource is every time you get a unit to level 100, you also get 1,000 gems there. So if you have literally nothing better to do, you could be slowly XP grinding to get random units up to 100, just because that's another slow way to get some extra. So in the crystal regard, that's something. Along those lines, auto farming is always good in general. So having a good auto farming team on Imperial Guard Commander 3, which I assume you've probably heard of. It's the most common thing that people recommend over on the Reddit and in Discord. It's just the most efficient stage for like 10 different avenues of account progression. So make sure that any time that you're in downtime and you have the ability to do auto running via either emulator or your actual mobile device or a backup mobile device, however things work, that you're doing some farming there so that you can be topped up on a bunch of basic resources. You can be getting XP for at least 2 units that you're trying to level up towards 100. And also just making sure that you're getting more Zell and all sorts of stuff. There's just a ton of progression involved there. Ether farming as well. So that's always just a great way to be prepping for the future. Even if you're an end game player, like you can still be running that stuff because you can be getting more souls because you have a chance to get souls when you run it on hard mode. And then the ether progression. Most people don't have ether 100 on everything unless they've been in the game for like 2 years and they've just had the time to do that. So yeah, auto farming efficiently is definitely a big thing. Another thing, especially now more than ever, is the tours, which it looks like you're at least interfacing with a little bit because there's an exclamation point there.
Yeah, a
Just
little. I'm kind of lazy to to
yeah,
put all of them
well,
back again, but
to be fair, tours are really daunting. Like they're so tedious to go and do. So I'm almost never super optimal on them, but I've still done them a little bit here and there over time. It's one of the few things that if I'm capped on it, it doesn't hurt my feelings if I just don't go in and change it if I just don't have time. But with one of the last recent updates, the last 2 zones that we got for tours are omega like super duper good for harvesting materials, and I make sure I am on them all the time now. So it is super advantageous to unlock all the way up to the final stages, because they just give you so incredibly much stuff, especially for when you want to start getting into the Godforge stuff, which eventually you will. So yeah, eventually I would say you probably want to get these unlocked just to make this go much faster. Um,
oh yeah, yeah.
So I would definitely do that. And then let me just see where you're actually at on some of these. Do you understand the tour system in general? Like how it
Well,
works? For the most part, or not really? Because it is a little bit confusing.
yeah, I've got no idea actually. I was like,
Okay,
okay,
cool.
there's a nice reward here, so let me just, you know.
Cool. Yeah, I mean it's basically free stuff. Like it costs you a little bit of souls because you're if you are running arcs, like it'll cost you a little souls to run the arcs, but then you get free rewards for it. So like it's always worth to do it. But when you get to the point of being able to do them well, it's even better. So I'll give you a super duper quick synopsis of how to do it, but then I will recommend. Have you been to Budafish's channel and looked up any of his content?
I can't say I have because I don't remember.
Okay. I would say that he's probably the biggest Last Cloudia content creator at this point. He makes like the most content and he does guides, he does summon videos, he does all sorts of stuff. He's just a very cool guy. He also is the host that put together the Last Cloudia podcast. So he's very, very big in the community, and he made a tours video within the last month or so that was quite comprehensive. So I highly recommend checking it out. But
All
I can
right.
still give you a brief rundown of what it is. So this is what I'm talking about. Once you can get up to here, this one is very good, and this is immensely good. These give you just stupid amounts of the enhancement materials, like the level 5 ones, as well as armor and weapon upgrade materials that you need for alchemy. So, and
I
because
had absolutely no idea.
yeah, so you eventually will get up there. It will take you a long time. So it's fine, but it's definitely worth just trying your best to go through and just be completing challenges. So a couple of different things to it. So first of all, every time you complete one, you get 10% progress. Once you get to 100, you can go to the next zone, and you get whatever the reward is down here. Most of the rewards, just kind of blah. The main thing is just trying to progress your way through all of them for completion's sake, and then also, once you get to those high ones, resources are really, really good. This are things that will give you bonuses on your units for running them. So when we go in here, we'll see that there is nothing, nothing, and a +1 here on Golroth. So right now, getting a great success, 12% chance. Grand success is 2%. The more ups you get on these, the more pluses you get. I think maybe it's like 4% and 2% or something. Or maybe it's 2 and 2. You just get 10 for free. I don't remember. It's in Buddha's video, the actual details of it. But so I can go ahead and turn suitability on and off. So this says hammer. One of the requirements from that list before was units that use hammers. So since he is able to equip a hammer, he gets a +1. So if we can go in and we can do things like give a unit nil resistance to either blind or illness or both, or if we are using a beast type or a sniper type or both, all of these will give pluses, and if we do that to each of our units, it increases our odds of having greater successes. So right here, in order to progress this quest, you want to be able to greatly succeed at units with a sniper. So right now, we don't even have a sniper in the party. So if we take a look here and just see what kind of snipers you have, we could actually come in and just say, okay, instead of him, we're going to run him. So he can equip a hammer, and he's a sniper. He already has a +2, so your odds have increased. And now if you happen to hit that 16%, you're going to get a 1 of 10 progress on here. So that's just a small thing you can do to just make it a little better. And then we can also just look here without making any other modifications and just look for people that have pluses. And preferably ones that maybe need some XP. Like, okay, Celios has a 1, so we could run this. So he's blind nil by default, so then he gets 1. So already we've basically doubled your odds of getting better rewards and stuff. And then you can run that.
All right.
Yeah. Now, another
Okay,
thing...
cross my fingers and let's hope I get some progress on that thing, huh?
Yeah, and then if you ever want to spend more time on these things, what you can do is you can come in and say, okay, so this unit has what? Let's see. So he's weak to illness, so he's probably not going to be getting up any more than that. So he's illness nil. He's neutral on blind, so if we can get a +2 to blind, he gets an extra +1. So let's see what kind of equipment you actually have here. If I come into accessories, I can filter by things that will give you blind resist, and we could just give him these. This inventory is independent of your actual game, so you do not jack with any of your other characters by doing this. So
Oh,
like,
just like the arena then.
Yeah, just like Arena. Tours are isolated from everything else. So now if I go back, he now gets a +2. If you happen to have taught anything, this is one of the only places that the mimicry skills can also come in. So if you come in, if you can give Mimicry Beast or Mimicry Sniper to a unit, that'll give them another +1 and a +1. Hammer Equip, if you put them on them, will make them get another +1. So you can go through, and now this team is even higher than the other one, being at a 20% chance. But there's no Sniper in here right now, which I don't think you have any other snipers anyway, so I don't think there's anything you can do about that. You already have Fallen a Tour, so yeah, you can't do much with that. So it's not possible for this team to actually progress your stuff, which is fine. But you could still be getting some free resources and such, and if you just don't want to run it, you can choose not to. But you're not using literally anything anyway, because there's no souls. You may as well run it and get a little bit of free rewards. Yeah. So yeah, that's the quick TLDR. Gear is independent of stuff. Look for the main challenge to try to progress that. Make sure every team at least meets the requirement that's there. And then just do your best to get numbers up higher. If you just lazily go in and say, okay, my best units happen to give a +1 and a 2 and a 3, and just put it on, there you go. If you want to spend more time, you can go and actually put gear on them to try to meet extra requirements or skills or whatever, so that you can hit some mimicries, you can hit some resistances. Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. All right. So that is tours. Quicker you can get through it, like I said, I'm guessing you're probably like 6 months out from like getting to end, like over to like the later stuff, because some of them just take a very long time to do. But as long as you're trying, you'll get there eventually. So it is a race. It's a marathon, not a race, rather.
It seems like it.
Yeah. That is the most common thing that I hear in the community, and it's very, very true. Like trying super hard to race and be like, oh, everybody else has this cool thing, I have to get it right now. Like, no, just slow down. It's like investing, You want to just put your money in the right places, and then down the road it's going to be better. Don't just splurge on something now because it looks shiny and cool. You don't need it right now. You'll get it in like a month anyway, but if you put that someplace else, in a month's time, you're going to be able to get it and be looking much better on the account. So that's kind of the general thing that we got in Last Cloudia. That's the biggest skill gap, I would say, with starting a new account, is like just intelligently investing your time and energy and resources and all that sort of stuff. Because 2 accounts could take, like one of them could take 4 times longer to get to the same exact point if you just do things poorly. Maybe even longer.
That makes a lot of sense. I've got an alt account that is, basically ground zero.
Fun. I mean, it's a good time to make an alt account. I wanted to myself. I just don't quite have the time.
All right.
I am detouring. So, how are you looking through normal campaign? Are you through all of normal mode?
Yeah, normal mode is done, and hard is probably done as well. I can't quite remember because it's been quite a while since I touched the story mode, but I'm pretty sure that it's all done.
Sweet. Nice. Well, soul spots are looking great. You love to see it. So I have no complaints there whatsoever. How's your friends list looking? Probably worth getting that up to 100, just saying. Not a huge deal, but I mean, you're still at least up at 60. You've spent a little bit unlocking. But it is worth getting up. Have you been spinning the friend gacha?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I dumped probably around 170k.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, so as long as you're just spending whenever you get it, because we don't know how long that's going to be there, so just try to keep it empty as much as you can.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
I was like, oh, what?
Yeah, I've run almost none of the Mega Cluster missions. I think maybe like 5 to 10 since they've been out, and I think I have over 10 of all of them now, just from the friend gacha. It's great.
Exactly.
It's so good. Okay, so anything more specific that you would like to be looking at? I mean, I guess we could go look at like arcs and units.
Yeah, take a look. See what you think.
Sure.
Let's take a peek. We can talk a little bit about team optimization.
Sure.
Maybe.
All right. So got Luke, Senku, nice, Theria. I mean, you got lots of tools. You've clearly. How long have you been playing? I assume you've been playing for a little while.
Yeah, I've been on and off, and then since the DMC collab came,
Mm-hmm.
and I just came back and I was like, all right, now this is my daily driver now. This is my main
Nice.
game, and
Cool.
it's been since then.
Nice. Okay. Beautiful. So, I mean, you've got a lot of tools here. You've obviously got a bunch of people up to 100, so you generally like you've been grinding. So, I mean, I can't really say much more than that. Um, as far as teams and content, I mean, you have a lot of choices, but the simple fact you have stuff like Theria, Zekis, Laug, Merity if you happen to need her. Lilibet is great in certain things. I mean, you kind of have tools for almost every scenario, uh, which is pretty stellar. So I don't think I can really say much more than that unless you have questions on specific units.
Yeah, I
So,
do actually, cause when I go to there are two bosses I can't beat.
okay.
One, I'm pretty sure that one it's definitely because I do not have all the beast units, to the Dark
Oh,
Palace one. That one,
yeah.
I am in peace with that. But the other one, the Grave of Heroes,
Hmm.
I just say, okay, I got a lot of powerful tools, like you said, but I haven't got the ones that I need there. So
Yeah.
then it's a separate grind for me to get up to that point again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to balance this, my daily grinding and my daily routine in the game with leveling up the guys that I need for that one.
Okay.
And just
So,
'cause I'm probably gonna need a lot of arcs and paired with them to learn the abilities and so on in order to beat those stages.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Full disclosure, I also have to beat those two fights. I'm pretty sure I can. I'm just too lazy to go and do it. But I've at least heard plenty about it, where I think I can at least give some direction on the unit choices. So, in general, the most common one for the Grave of Heroes that I hear is Lukiel. Like, making her your powerhouse is probably really great, just because when the dragon gets broken, you don't have that long while he's in break to actually do your damage before the elementals come back, so you really want to make the most of that time. So if you can make Lukiel a complete badass so that once he's vulnerable, she can be ulting, and then hopefully recharge her ult for the second time that he gets broken, that's probably going to be the best bet. And then Laugia is quite good as well, as far as going in and just helping to deal with elementals and such. Um, Having a good support is probably pretty necessary. Unfortunately, I don't see some like one of the main ones that you'd want, which would probably be Lena, but Tinkili maybe could work.
Is a diva, right?
Yeah, Diva.
Hmm.
Just because she does give some of the best physical buffs in the game. So with like God Heal to just help with some healing, you should probably be okay having her be a backup. Let me take a look quick at some of your arcs and see what you actually are working with here.
Yeah, I haven't got a lot of luck
URs.
with the arcs.
Oh, definitely Lukiel. You have great war with Lukiel. Oh, you need to be leveling up your Lukiel. That's great. So good on that. Um, I assume you're at least aware that like that was a thing on your account that's really baller, right? Like if you have Guardian Angel Akil and Great War, it's just like a cheat button.
Yeah.
Like
But once I got Theria,
yeah,
I am aware of the Kill
yeah,
thing, and once I got Theory, I was in ecstasy. So it's like, I'm
that's
gonna
fair.
use this unit and
Uh,
fuck the rest. Oops,
yeah,
sorry. And,
yeah. Oh no, you can cuss and stuff. It's fine. I don't care. I don't monetize any videos anyway, so feel free to let loose. But yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. If I got Theria, I would put all my resources into her anyway. But eventually, you were talking about min-maxing people for future proofing. You should have a maxed out Lukiel, for sure, especially when you have Great War. I'm less excited to build her. Like I will finish building her just for that fight only. But I don't have Great War, so using her in other content, I'm not super big on it. But if you have it, she's a huge asset for sure. Having Theo's really nice. You have the mobile office too. That's gross. I'm jealous. Everybody seems to have mobile office but me. I'm gonna cry. All right. What other tools do we got here?
I feel the same with the Kagutsushi. That
Mm,
is,
that one I do
I see
have.
everyone with that, and I was like, I have gotten my alt, and I was like,
Yeah.
geez, why can't I get into the right account?
Yeah. Nobody was wanting it for the most part. Like some people were like, "Oh yeah, it's fine, but it's just sort of okay." I thought it was funny. Now the Godforge came out, and they're like, "Hey, if you were one of those people that were mad about getting it, you can now get a crazy good sword." So I'm working on building that right now.
Am I right?
Yeah. All right. So you have. Were you planning on rolling? Have you been rolling for this banner at all, or have you just have it?
Spent all my free resources in it,
Okay.
and
With no luck.
I got nothing to.
That's probably
to
going to be
show
me
for it.
too. I'm probably going to do a summon video soon, trying to get that WAP, and we'll see. Probably not going to happen.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
this is I went completely bananas on Luxus,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
when I saw that FMA was coming, and I had already spent everything, I was like, okay, is there a window around,
Mm-hmm.
And now I went in with what, 10K, 12K, and no bueno.
Yeah. Well, and it'll happen. For monster units for that monster fight, do you have an idea of what units that you at least want to build to bring into the fight?
I know that that little code robot is good.
Yep.
I forgot its name. I
Yep.
know that he's good because of the stun, right? But
Yeah,
I don't
ailments,
really know
ailments
about the
in
rest.
yeah, ailments in general, as well as you can put insta kill tech on him as well. So you can run Death God as well as like the Deathbringer sword, and then you can run Cactus Hammer so he can stun things, and if he's not stunning things, you might just be killing him outright. So yeah, he's absolutely an auto include on the team. I think other ones that are standouts is Sagine is really, really good, and Pakal as like a support healer, probably good. Final, I don't really know. It probably doesn't matter a ton. I know Gobble can kind of do a little bit with break damage, and has some insta-kill stuff with his bombs, but I don't know if he's really that good unless you have some special limited time stuff. I've seen people run Skeleton just because he gets like multiple free revives. So like there may be some stuff there, but I think the main ones I would focus on is definitely Spider Tank, and then probably Pakal and Sagine, and then the last one is Dealer's Choice. So that'd be my recommendation. I guess I've also seen people do some pretty nutty things with Spectre. I saw Tweaks go in and actually solo that boss with just Spectre, and that was pretty awesome. Yes, yeah, it was brutal. It was really crazy. So
I need to watch more YouTube, man.
yeah, definitely. If you ever want to watch just single units in showcases where they just do bananas things that are really dumb, Tweaks' channel is the place for it. It's really great. He does some silly things. But all right, yeah. So that's my recommendation there. Did you have any questions as far as like builds or anything, or you're like feeling pretty solid?
Um, I guess I just go to the super skill training thing, and I just basically learn every skill I can with every character.
Nice. That's great.
Because I don't, I don't think I'm thinking 2 steps ahead when it comes to this game.
Sure.
So because for me it's the funniest game to play, so I don't go too deep, I guess, because I don't want to spend my entire day playing this.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't exactly know what are the bread and butter. So for example, I've got like a tank. This X, Y, and Z skills are the ones that I should have in every tank, and then the others are situational. I don't have this vision.
Sure.
Okay, so I've got like a Shin, right? So he's like an assassin kind of guy. So what are the 10 skills that I need to have in every assassin kind of type?
Yeah. You're saying you kind of have that in your head of like assassin type, has these
I
things,
don't.
or
I
you
know
don't.
what
Okay,
they
cool.
are, but I don't know what the bread and butter is.
Sure. So one, I'd say Shin. His main place is in Arena. So any advice I give you on Shin would just be for Arena, because I do not think he's good in PvE. At least not on the high end of things. And that's mainly just because he has so many things that want him to single wield, and single wield is just bad in PvE. So,
Hmm.
like, he can get the job done, but he's not great. It looks like you haven't really been building him too much anyway, which I don't blame you because you have a roster of way better units already. But
Yeah,
he,
he was just like an example, you know. So
yeah,
I know what the units are, but I don't know what the bread and butter is for each
yeah,
class per se.
okay, yeah, and I think some of it does come down to, like you said, situational stuff. Like some units maybe can use Terror Melt where others cannot. Um, but let's go ahead and see what kind of stuff is on Laoxeus. Like there's generally some things that you can go and put on people that is almost always going to be good, but everything's still situational depending on what type of things there are. So in general, I mean, Lug already comes with a ton of stuff, but any units in general that are going to be doing damage in PvE, you always want to be matching Slayers with special boost. It's just the cheapest way to boost your damage. It is an absolute necessity. It usually costs like 15 points to be able to get a boss's Slayer with special boost if it doesn't come in their kit, and it's always worth it. So, always do your best to match Slayers, so when you're going through and just teaching everything to people, have Slayers on that list of everything to teach people. So,
Okay.
so if you decide somebody needs to go in to fight a fish, you could just be like, all right, cool, let's adjust my build. I'm going to put on Fish Slayer special boost, and then we'll do it. Laug comes with Slayer for like 80% of enemies already, so you probably don't have to worry about it. But other units, you might. All right.
Yeah, and I have this weird thing that everything that says auto in it, I just I just switch on. You know, it
Okay.
says auto, I'm there.
Sure. I'd say that works. It just depends on what type of content you're in. Just because you do burn through a lot of points where you're probably losing a lot of potential, especially because it's just stats at the end of the day. Some of them can be a little bit better. Like auto criticals are really, really nice if you don't have it, just because that's a percentage chance to hit bigger damage. But like auto brave, auto aura, like it's fine, but stats aren't going to do quite as much as actual damage multipliers, and you could be straight up missing out on some otherwise. And for somebody like Lug, I think that his place where he thrives really well is when he can just dump all of his skills and just kill something within the first like 40 seconds. And if he can do that, all he needs is fast buffs anyway, which only costs 2. So you could run Fast Brave and Fast Aura on him for a total of 4 and have 10 points to spend on other stuff that's way better.
Hmm.
So, assuming that the match isn't lasting super long, like the auto things will come into play if like you're taking 1 to 5, 10, 20 minutes to beat something, then suddenly auto buffs can be a bit more beneficial. Or that's also when phaser buffs can come into play. So maybe if you're running Theria in a super long fight like the Ajlorg fight, which I assume you've already beaten,
Hmm.
but you could be using like Brave Phaser and Aura Phaser in that fight, and then not have any of these sort of buffs on people because they're going to have those buffs applied via Theria already. And then you could have this freed up to just help them do more big dick damage. So, same with haste as well. You can have, if you have the arc for it, you can use Heat Live, and that'll apply the haste buff, and that's a phaser effect as well. So, things like that could be good. Dark High Drive, nice. Yeah, things like this are prime. Like looking for things, basically anything that says plus percentage to your attack, those are things that you want to prioritize. Lug Sky High is probably way better than running an auto buff to him, because I believe all of his abilities apply a tiny amount of lift, and you only need a little bit, and then for 4 points, that's just 20% extra damage.
Oh yeah.
So that's nice. Um, he's not dual wielding. He should be dual wielding.
Yeah, I heard about that a lot, and I was like, okay, so I should
Yeah.
move my Shula from I don't know, I think it's in DB Ray,
Mm.
and put it into him, and I was like, I
Yeah.
remember later to change back again, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, it depends what you're actually running them for. I would say since you have Trishula, Lug can pretty much be used in like all the multiplayer fights, and in my opinion, like it's probably the biggest place to just be playing and grinding, especially since you're all through campaign anyway. You just kind of have boss fights to work through. So just working towards getting some Godforge stuff is probably a really solid bet because there's so much good stuff in the Godforge. Shockwave is really good in PvP. I don't think in PvE it has a ton of use, just because there's not many enemies that actually guard. It's only there's very few enemies that actually guard. So I'd say that's probably a little bit of wasted SC for a general build.
All right, so I should probably switch that with double impact, maybe.
No, I probably wouldn't. So double impact is just helping your regular attacks anyway, and in general with Lug, you just want to be using all of your big skills, usually his S3 and his S2. So his regular attacks shouldn't really be doing much. They should mostly be there just to help him get MP back with Goddess Kiss. So if you haven't taught him Goddess Kiss is a mainstay on him. So if you have the arc for that, which I think is March of the Saints, teach him Goddess Kiss if he doesn't have it. But removing Shockwave as well as probably the auto skills can help you put on dual wield, and then with Trish on him, machine boost, probably a good idea. Do you have the pirate ship?
I do.
You do? Okay, cool. I would recommend removing these and replace them with Pirate Feast for 9. In general.
Yeah, that's a solid idea. Because
Yeah.
then all skills are back again in the next wave, right?
Yeah. So, and
I
if...
think I've already learned it with him.
Oh, yeah, he's got it right here. Yeah, he's got it right here.
Okay.
So, yeah. If you'd want, I can go through and just like update stuff, but I don't really want to be messing with your things unless you want me to, and then I could go through like this is my account and I'd just be like, this is exactly what I would do. But
Well, if you're comfortable with that, I am, because you.
I mean, I can,
more
sure,
knowledgeable than I am.
sure. All right. So let's actually see what's this do. Skill power raises with current skill stock. I feel like this seems like a super good skill, but I feel like you're probably going to be hitting high damage numbers anyway, so I think we'll be fine without.
And you kind of need all of the bars to be up, right?
Yeah.
To be full. So,
Yeah.
and my goal with him is basically just spamming everything anyway, right?
Okay. Do you have the poses on him? Pose for glory primarily. You do not. Recommend
I
teach.
don't.
I would teach that to him. I assume you have the arcs for it,
I
since
do.
you have so many other things. So, all right. So the main reason that I say that is you don't actually need Pirate Feast on him if you have Pose for Glory right now, because it's bugged and it has a ×10 effect on all the on-kill effects in multiplayer. So basically,
That's interesting.
So like if you snag a kill in multiplayer, you basically get like almost max stocks of all your stuff. So that effectively works like Pirate Feast if you could just snag a kill. Then the following wave you're going to have a bunch of stuff. So it saves you a little bit. Eventually, though, Pirate's Feast will be the way to go. All right, so if I was doing this, I would get rid of Auto Haste, because you're going to get most of your skill charges through Pirate Feast or Pose. And that's really expensive. Like, Auto Haste is just so expensive, and he already takes so long to get stuff back. I don't think an extra 25% is going to help him a ton. All right, we got that. Oh shit, you have to get machine equip so that he can get Trishula on, because he cannot.
I haven't got that. I was sure I had it.
Yeah, he can't even use it yet. So that's a thing. These look great. I would put some better HP ups on him. I don't know what you have available. I assume you've beaten Tower with this account, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
I cleared it a couple times.
Yeah, so the main thing I like to do on my DPS units, if they have to have some survivability, is HP plus 2 from the Tower Arc is, in 90% of units, is like the most efficient way to get your HP up. But I usually like to do HP plus 2, HP max, and HP 4. If you have access to them. Otherwise, HP plus 2 and then HP max, also really solid. It's a total of 9 points, and it'll probably bump your health pool by like, I don't know, probably 40-50%, I would think. Maybe not. Maybe that's a little generous. At least 30 or 40%. So, yeah, that could be a thing that I would definitely do.
It's
Um,
much more than what I've got right now. So
yeah,
yeah, this is a new unit for me, right? I haven't had the time to go through all my arcs and putting, them in sequence to see which ones I'll get first. But
yeah, I understand. So if I'm saying anything that like I'm sure a lot of this stuff was like on your list or whatever, just because he's still a work in progress, but still just going through some of the stuff that I would do. Like I said, fast brave. Throw fast brave on him instead of the current auto skills that you have. So like I wouldn't run these at all. Magic, he doesn't need a ton just because his scaling on his physical attacks, which is where the meat of his damage is, scales primarily off of strength. So getting strength up is like the most advantageous. Um, yeah, you know what? I will just generally put some of this stuff back on just because while we're in here, like the next time you go to use him, you should at least have some of these things because you have to build him to have some other stuff.
yeah, my first step now is just to get machine equip. I was sure I had it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, no, you're fine, dude. And then I would also recommend getting putting sword equip on him as well, just because eventually that's going to be your other best in slot is a sword, just because swords are so good. All right, we can throw auto haste back on because why not?
And I
I'll get
should
sky
use
high.
that as Lorg, sword, right? That
Uh,
one's a good one for him, right?
yeah, yeah, that's a good one. I would say when you are strong enough to be hitting all caps on your white numbers, Scarlet Blade can be another option, even though it's not really that needed, but it's there. And then something else to just help with reliability is in the Godforge. If you can eventually get the Pure Blade, that with Trishula is pretty disgusting. So I'd recommend trying to get that if you're able to. I mean, you can. It's just one of those things to grind towards. But I would say that is worthwhile, and at your point in the game, I don't think it's an unreasonable goal for you to shoot for. Um, okay, so it looks like you have to actually go get this. This is from shop. So as you're,
That secret shop, right? And close to the fishing lake.
I think so, and I think you have to clear it all out, and then this becomes available. So that, and then yeah, just doing some enhancing up to 40 on each of these. This will be easy. This will take a little bit more work, but I would definitely work towards that because if you can get this simply unlocked, not even upgraded to plus 40, just unlocked, that can start going on whatever your main DPS unit is for multiplayer. You just put that plus Trish or this plus something else if you don't need Trish because you're using somebody that's, strong against somebody. Yeah, it's great. I mean, this will look good on it's gonna look good on DB Ray. Like if you're using Ray in like the Kraken fight, he's already weak to lightning anyway, so you don't need Trishula. So you could just run a big claw on him that you have whatever your best claw is for his claw bonuses. Run this with sword high boost, and like he's probably gonna be capping no problem if he isn't already, which he probably is because Ray's a beast. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is just super duper good to throw on literally any DPS unit. So highly recommend working towards that as one of your goals. So do that if you are able to. Do you do much of the multiplayer stuff right now? Just a little bit here and there? Or is
Well,
it
I'm a little bit far from the server, so I just randomly run it on auto, cause
okay?
it lags so much around here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um,
So it's a bit of a struggle.
yeah, I just
Gotcha.
leave it if it's a content that I can, help clear on auto, then I do it.
Okay.
If I have to play support, for example, then it's a hassle, because it takes sometimes like 4 seconds for me to get it back.
Okay. Um all right. So I'm just trying to think of different things you can do cuz you're stationed towards like kind of end game phase right now as far as I'm concerned. Like you're through campaign, you've got a huge roster of units. Most of them are reasonably built, and the ones that aren't built, like you're progressing them reasonably well. So that's good. Arena. How are you on Arena? Like, do you like it? Do you not? Because, like, I mean, I would hope lag's not bad since it's instanced, I think, so you shouldn't need the actual server for
Yeah,
lag on
I
that.
don't have I don't have a leg. Actually, what got me into Arena was your video. So I've been using.
Nice.
I haven't in the past I didn't even touch Arena because
Yeah.
you know just fighting against Spirit Mating Theory was just so frustrating.
Yeah.
Then
Well,
I actually went to on YouTube and I typed in how to beat SM Theoria. You know, and
nice.
that's when I got the video. That was my first video on Last Claudia ever on YouTube.
That's great.
So
Nice.
so I followed it, and I actually got half decent in arena.
Nice.
But then now I don't know if I should keep investing in
Yeah.
arena or something like this, because again, my problem is with optimization.
Yeah.
So
All right. So I would say you definitely should try getting into Arena. You have an account that has plenty of tools for it, so that's good. Like there's a lot of different strategies you can do, and since one of the last, I think 2 updates ago, they added some new formations that makes it much easier to do different stuff, and things like countering Thera is even easier than it was before, because you can literally just plow through her with damage, which is great, especially because you have Nero and Lug, and they are, like, in my opinion, far and beyond the best DPS units in Arena. You can just completely delete people if you have either of them, and you have both, so pretty good. So if you'd like, I could spend some time on Arena and help you get an Arena team sorted out.
if that will be fun for you, then yes, because I just don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about what's fun or not in general. Like, I'm happy to do whatever. If you would like to spend, this time doing something like that, we can do it. Otherwise, if you would like me to focus elsewhere, let me know and we can shift.
Amazing then. Arena is a nice thing that that
Yeah.
I have a love and hate relationship with.
Yeah. I would say my biggest recommendation is, okay, so you're in Super already, which is sweet. What's the highest you have gotten to?
I've got Super 3, I want to say.
Super 3 of green, whatever this is?
Yeah, this
Okay,
green
cool.
thingy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say goal for Arena is one season, at least one season, try to get to Gold 1 as best as you can. Because all you have to do is manage to get to the top rank, and whatever your highest completed is, you are locked into those rewards daily for the rest of your eternity on your account. So if you stop playing Arena basically altogether and just log in to get your 2 wins every day, and you've made it up to Gold 1, that's 20 Mother Souls every day. That's huge for future proofing. Just because
Oh, yeah.
it's going to get to the point that, you get a new unit, as long as you have, I believe the number is, I think it's like 1,200.
650, isn't it?
No.
650.
To Awaken, but the thing I care about is the SC. I think SC matters more than Awakening myself. To go from 0 to 80 SC, I believe is going to be like 1280. So you have 1280 for that. If you have, yeah, because Awakening is only the unit souls anyway, so you can't use Mother Souls for that. But just the fact of as soon as you get a unit, if you can max out their board and then make them 80 SC right away, feels real good. So, as far as future-proofing, doing the things you can do to enable yourself to do that, so being as stocked up on crystal clusters as you can, and having as many Mother Souls saved up as you can, and all that sort of stuff, just feels great when you get a new shiny collab unit or something, and then you can basically just max them out in a matter of minutes. So, that feels really nice.
I bet.
Let me see.
Every new unit's a struggle.
All right, so when you are able to, so right now, if I had to judge just looking at your team, you have a very neutral team where it is basically survive whatever your opponent's doing, and then eventually come in and start cleaning things up with Ray and maybe Kyle. Is that fair to say? Maybe do some CC with Zekis here, and then just hopefully be able to clean up before they can clean you up. Is that
Oh yeah.
fair strategy? Cool.
Yeah, that's like to throw the dice.
Yep.
Target a spirit mating theory, spam Kyle's S1 and pray for the best.
Nice. All right. I do want to check and see if you have a specific arc. You don't. So, when you were in and out of the game, you did miss something important, which is kind of sad. You'll have to wait till next year to get it again. Just after DMC, there was a Valentine's Day event where we all got a free LR arc that would have made your Theria much more broken. But you don't got it, so you're going to have to wait till it comes back around. It's called Maiden's Lovely Banquet, and its big thing is that it gives you a plus 30% cast speed for healing magic. So what that lets you do is instead of running God Heal on Theria, it lets you spend 6 to instead put Stardust Heal on her, and then you just disable the rest of these, and you just put her on Stardust Heal. This is a time stop that heals all your allies for 9 more MP. So you still time stop just like with God Heal. You don't heal quite as much, but you still get her barrier, and it feels real scummy. So unfortunately, without the arc, you can't hit 70% cast speed, and if this isn't insta-cast, it's not worth running. So God Heal is great. But I would keep an eye out, make sure whenever Valentine's Day comes back around, just check, see if it's running, and try to get that arc, because it's great. It also makes Glass Record much, much nicer, too. So you don't have to use Recast on yourself to hit 100% cast speed. Plus, kudos on getting Glass Record. That's super great on Theria, so that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, beautiful. I would say, just in the essence of fun and speed clearing things, I would recommend trying to work Arena towards being able to have kind of an aggro setup. So, to do that, there's a few key things. One of them is, in the trading space, different formations. Spell Render. Try to work your way up to this. So get 500 points. I saw you got a few different ones, which is great. Some of the other new ones, definitely still pretty good. Spell Render, though, this is far and beyond like the best for aggro teams. So you get this, you finish building Lug, you finish building Nero, and let's see, who else do you have that would be good in here? I mean, Ray is solid. I would probably put Kyle in, as you currently do. And then you could try to have some safety net with either a caster like Zekis that can throw in some blizzards. That's probably the safest play, just so that you can make sure you don't get locked out by magic in that way. Or you could put in somebody like Theria, so that you could do some heals. But since you don't have Maiden's Lovely, I think Zekis is probably the safer pick, and you just go all in on damage. And basically just have the mentality be, hey, I'm going to kill everybody on your board in the first couple seconds, and if you survive long enough to do anything else, Zekis is going to be spamming Blizzard for the rest of the game, and I'm still going to continue to murder your face. So that's what I would be doing. So
How do you feel then about Kohaku then? Because our
Kohaku
S1 is a pretty nice gap close, right? And it's pretty fast.
Yeah, so Kohaku is definitely an option. So if you want to use Kohaku over somebody, you can. As far as raw DPS, though, she's not going to do nearly as much as Nero or Luxeus. So if you want to be purely aggro, like just take the risk of foregoing a caster, such as either a healer or Zekis, she could be the 4th, because there is value in having her S1 to confirm kills when people revive at 10%. So then you can make sure that when you know people are going to be reviving off of a decoy or a green pendant or whatever they have to revive with, that you can switch over to Kohaku, keep spamming switch target until they spawn, and then just have her S1 and insta-kill them to make sure they're off the board, they don't have a chance for God Heals or anything like that. So that could be viable. But Kyle can throw S1s as well, which isn't as fast, but can still confirm. And I think that Lug's S2... doesn't that have infinite range and doesn't require line of sight? So, like, if you're across the map, can you press S2 and then just have his attack instantly hit the enemy?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, okay. So then he has something that can help confirm those kills, too. So I don't think Kohaku does quite enough. Like, she can be there. But for me, I've tested her a lot because I really love her. And it seems like she just runs out of steam. So if they're a really defensive team and they don't die right away... she feels like as soon as her skills are gone, she kind of just doesn't do anything. She just sits there and waits to die, maybe gets a couple more attacks off, and yeah, I just feel like she doesn't bring quite enough to the table compared to other units that we have now. Other units you have in your account, in fact. So
yeah, that's true.
If you-
true. Now that you mention it, she's kind of like the definition of a glass cannon, right? You spam and then
Yeah.
until everything comes back, she's basically gone.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, like I said, if you want to go hyper aggro and you want to forego having a caster, which totally works. I think my current team has that, actually. And so if everybody's built for enough damage, that can work. And then, yeah, she'd totally fit into there and would be fine. I would argue probably somebody like Medine might be better just for the extra SET.
Oh, she's amazing. I'm working
She's
my
so good.
way.
I love her so much.
But I got distracted by Lugsies.
Hmm.
I don't never know how to
I just
pronounce
call
it.
him
But
Lug
anyway,
usually.
Luke. All right, Luke. Let's call her Bro Luke.
Yeah.
So then he caught my attention, and I was like, yeah, you're gonna wait a little bit, but she is
Yep.
like super fun to play,
Yeah.
and if
Yeah.
I could run her, I would probably
Yeah,
run her just
she's
because.
very good in arena, especially with the team that you have. So like if you ran a hyper aggro team, Medine, Kyle, Lug, and Nero, um, it, enemies probably couldn't do a ton overall, especially because pretty much all of them have knockups. So you can have Sky High on everybody. First of all, for just flat extra 20% damage, which is nice. And when you're in manual control, her kit just plays really nicely in arena. Being able to throw her Maelstrom to be able to pop people up and then dash in on people. The fact that she's one of the few ice units is really good because Kyle's on so many teams. You can weaken Kyle with her specifically. Like have everybody else go at like casters and things like that, and then just have her focus Kyle, burst him to maybe 50% health, so that everybody else, when you pop their barriers, have weaker barriers. Because Kyle's passive barrier goes off of current health, not max health. So you can use her to go weaken him, make it so that everybody else dies quicker, and then Kyle can just be left alone if he's too tanky and just not even kill him, just kill all his buddies. Or you can kill Kyle too. So yeah, Madine's totally a good choice too.
That's solid.
Yeah. As I was saying, I don't know where your Nero is actually at in regards
He's
to
up there.
build.
He's level 100, but I got
Oh, I
frustrated
didn't mean to
because I
do that.
wanted V
Who did you have in this slot? I'm
and
sorry. Ray. You had Ray. Yeah, I don't want to change this on you here. I just wanted to look at your units. Not like that. I didn't want to do that. There
so
we go. Okay,
I
Nero.
was like, okay, I want V, and I you
Yeah.
know how it
Yeah.
works, right?
Yeah.
The one you want never comes.
Yeah.
So I just put Nero to 100 for the sake of having him,
Okay.
leveled up, but I
Yeah.
never really invested
Fair enough.
as I should.
I will say he is probably worth doing as far as arena stuff, but since you are leveling Lug, keep going on Lug first because I think Lug is better in general. Nero is a solid backup though, so if you want to be aggro, you could do that. I don't think you have the pieces to make a full aggro team right now. But things you will want to be doing. Lug already has most of, but on Nero you will want things like Slayers, so you will want Special Boost, you will want Sorcerer Slayer, probably God Slayer. I think you can probably forego something like Soldier and Knight Slayer. I think you can do without. He could probably be fine. But if you can take care of enemy Luxeus and Ray, DeGrogue, and then all of the sorcerers that are annoying, I think that's pretty worthwhile. So definitely, like I said before, Slayers and Special Boost, super key in general.
Yeah,
Sky
and
High.
I've seen people using a lot of the Grog lately. I kind of half built mine, but I don't think she can cut it.
Yeah, when she's maxed out, I was kind of iffy on her before, but when she's maxed out on defense, she's very very good. Unfortunately, for the most part, it seems like the things that she really excels at, she's basically baby Lug. Lug is just the upgraded version of her in so many aspects. So when you have Lug, you want to focus on maxing out Lug in general because the things that she offers, he does plus like 50% more. So like she has Human Slayer, which is really stupidly good in Arena. He has Human Slayer and Brute Slayer and Special Boost already built in. Okay.
Yeah.
She has none of the auto ups. He has auto critical, which is like the most important thing. He's got just even more multipliers on his skill. He has a lot more AoE. She basically has a gap closer, and then she has her S2, which is, granted, her abilities are all stupid good, especially with the AI in the game. The AI uses her very well on defense, which is why I enjoy using her. But if I had Lug, I would replace her in a heartbeat. Or run both of them, maybe, but in general, if I could only have one, Lug is going to be it. So impact doesn't really matter, but you haven't really been playing with him anyway. Sword high boost, super key, very good. Um, ba, 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 ba. um, all these are worth having on still, regardless. Just to have them. I mean, I guess if you have a certain strategy for them, then all right, cool. But you,
Well, my strategy was like if I turn them off, I just get to keep the coolest two on.
yeah. So
You know?
here's the thing, though. I've heard the strategy before, and it sounds good on paper. The problem is these have passives. So the passives are always active no matter what. The secondary effect is only when this is active, but like by having these off, you are foregoing special damage cap up, which, granted, in PvE or PvP doesn't matter a ton. Well, no, it does. You still want to be capping. Like you can hit cap in arena with Nero, where most units can't. And then this attack specials have a chance to crit. Okay, that's fair. You're not going to be getting a special. So like turning this one off, I'll agree. I'll agree with that. That's totally fair.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
3K cap is kind of good.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking like 3K cap. So I cap with him pretty much all the time, and he has what 1600 cap in general. So that would mean that his normal cap goes from 16k down to 13k. Some enemies have, I mean, but that's per hit. Like that's per hit. If you're even hitting 13k and you get multiple hits in, they're still gonna die. So I think that's fair. I'm actually okay with that, and I think I will do that on my Nero. I'm pretty okay with that, actually. I like that. I didn't realize those passives are much more PvE focused than anything else. But yeah.
Yeah, because I was like,
That's
yeah,
pretty
it's
okay.
arena. I'm not gonna use special anyway, right? So I
Yeah.
just removed them and
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I like that. I like that a lot. Getting Sky High on him will be great. Things like Sharp Eyes is a must. I'm pretty much on most DPS units. You generally want Sharp Eyes. I don't remember. You know what? For the conversation about units that are like what skills should be going on units, how about we go take a quick peek through your arcs and use that as kind of a benchmark for, okay, here's an arc that's super valuable because this goes on all of your DPS units or whatever. So does that sound reasonable?
yeah, the Theopolis you mean? You mean I was getting a piece of paper because I'm gonna take notes.
Sweet. All right. So Theo, Thaumaturgy Ring is really situational. It just comes down to if you have a physical DPS unit that naturally has high int. So I think Lug comes with Thaumaturgy Ring. If he doesn't, it could probably work on him. It'd probably be worthwhile. Giga
Yeah, he
Week
comes with it.
Giga Week can be something that could be an option if you want to catch people off in arena. So with your current team, it could be worthwhile to throw Giga Week on somebody. Maybe even test with Theria, like using your current team where you have some CC and then you have 2 elemental damage dealers for doing DPS. Try giving Theria Giga Week so she has the option to heal. But if you can get if you can get enough MP to get a single Giga Week off from either her or maybe even you put it on a DPS unit, just so if they get stuff you can do Giga Week. It enables you to do something else that I've been using a lot lately, but I want to see if you have the arc for it. You do weak point boost. This for DPS units when it's applicable, you always want it. It is one of the best damage boosts in the game. Like for 7, getting 30% is really good, but it also feels like in the damage calculation, it seems like it sits outside of some of the other areas and like it might be multiplicable with some of the others. So what I've been doing lately is I don't have Theo, so I can't teach Giga Week to anybody, but I have Rabala, and she comes with fast. Like one of her passive abilities is the equivalent to fast Giga Week. So at the start of a PvP match, basically everybody has negative elemental numbers, which means I get weak point boost on all my units. Which is really insane for helping your units hit cap, like Nero. So like my Nero, DeGrogue, and Kyle can all hit damage cap in arena. Whereas before, when I was trying to do stuff, like I would struggle to hit over like I would usually average my high damage in like 5 to 10k, I think. But now almost every match I'm hitting cap of like 1699 is my highest number, just because Nero's stupid good. And this helps to do it. So because you have Theo, you could potentially throw it on somebody. And units like Medine already come with weak boost. So if you decided to go hyper aggro, you could do something like that. Maybe instead of Sharp Eyes on her, or yeah, you'd probably have to forego Sharp Eyes so that she could get enough to cast it. But basically, you just pick one of the DPS units, give them Giga Week, and then as soon as they can cast it, get that on the enemy and continue to do damage, and you will probably just chew through people. So yeah, weak boost on all your elemental DPS. Worst case, teach it to them, and then in fights where you need it, it should be good. Like Ray should have it on for if he's in the Kraken fight, for sure. Like against the
Yeah, this is 30%. It's a lot.
yeah, it's huge. And like I said, it feels better than 30%. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just anecdotal, but it feels like it's better than like Sword High Boost. And I think it's because in the damage calculation, it becomes multiplicative with standard weapon boosts and things like that. All right. I mean, you already know to throw Dark High Drive at anybody that wants it. Phone Booth and Purple Orb. Obviously, Purple Orb you want on Lug. Teach that to Lug. He wants Purple Orb a lot. So Purple Orb plus Pirate Feast is a match made in heaven on Lug. It is super good. So very fortunate you have this. And then Phone Booth. Pretty much any fight that's one wave, you want to have Phone Booth equipped to your main DPS units, just so that you can get the massive boost to start spamming skills. So, yeah, that's something to just be aware. Teach all of these to all your units so that you have them available, if you haven't already.
All right.
I already said HP plus 2, teach this to all your units. It is like the best HP increase in the game, especially on low HP units like Theria or like you have Senku. Literally a 50% increase to HP by equiping this for 4.
Yeah, because it's like a 1,000 flat. Right?
Yeah, it's 1,000 flat, which means you get all your other bonuses. So he goes from 2,000 roughly, because he has the smallest health pool in the game, to 3,000. And now suddenly, when you're starting to throw on an HP max for 20%, instead of giving, what would that be, like 400, you're now giving him 600 extra?
600, yeah.
Yeah, I think. I might be mathing wrong, but that's probably about right. So yeah, HP plus 2, super good. Along the same vein, if you need to make people beefier like mages, if you have the mummy suit, it basically has HP plus 2 on it. Because instead of giving armor and things, it gives you plus 99 HP. And that's flat. So, yeah. Super duper nice.
Yeah, I don't think I have it, though.
Okay.
The mummy suit, unfortunately.
I think it's in the game. Like, I don't think it was a collab thing. So I think you can get it if you just go look for it. Hold on. Let me check Goldmine super quick. Well, let's take a real quick look. I assume you're aware of Last Cloudia Goldmine. Is that fair to say?
Thanks to you too.
Okay, cool. Just making sure, because you never know. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Town Marquita, their shop. You buy all the items, it becomes available to you. So it is expensive. It's like $1.5 million to buy it out of the shop. But still, something to work towards. Go get Mummy Suit. It is one of my top, probably 3 or... It's probably my most used robe. But worst case, top 3 for sure. I love Mummy Suit a ton. Gives you a free revive, gives you a flat plus 1,000 to your HP, gives you 30 MP on top of it. It's a good time. It's good. All right, back to other stuff. Berserker. Berserker is a good thing. In PvP, your damage dealers probably want Berserker. Yeah, it's going to hurt you over time, but that's another flat 30% to your damage. So if you can get all of these plus 30s and plus 20% to damage, they add up a lot. And they make some significant damage, some significant differences. You can go from averaging like 3,000 or 4,000 damage to suddenly capping at, 13, 14, 1,500 damage. So yeah, Berserker, a good one to be aware of, to be able to put on people. Most of these don't really matter a ton. Obviously, weapon boost. If somebody are using weapons, they generally want them. High ones are more priority. If you have a strategy that uses it, then Terramelth is good, but I don't think without V you probably don't have a
Yeah,
ton of play
I'm
for it.
not too big on the buffer side,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because V's amazing.
Let's see here. If you wanted to try weird, fun things in Arena, not that you necessarily want to play Arena for fun, but if you wanted to, you could use stuff like well, I think he already comes with the Terror Melt stuff, but you can do stuff like V with what's his face, Logia. I used to use Logia in a comp for that, where I would go in and I would have somebody else use a Null Melth in the middle of the match, and then he would just be spamming his abilities on people and applying illness and stun and all sorts of that fun stuff. So Logia can be quite fun as well, and he can do some good burst damage to people. So Logia can be a good time.
That would be fun to do in
Yeah,
arena. Just
yeah.
spam
I,
stuns and stuff.
Yeah, a couple other units that I've done the ailment stuff with is I used to do it with Master Thief Robin, the bad Robin, just because he has really good auto attacks for spreading illnesses. And with Skill Charge 2, he automatically gets to dash with his S2. So he can get behind enemies the first second and then just start spamming autos, and then you can switch to other units to do other stuff. So he can do that stuff pretty competently. And then also Spider Tank. Like you've already heard that he's good at doing ailments. It works in PvP too. So if you can manage to get like a Null Melth to be able to reduce resistances, or if they're just simply ignoring it altogether, Spider Tank can be kind of annoying and actually do some AoE ailment spreading, which is cool. Okay, so this is a good thing to just be aware of if you aren't already. Super bad chemical drain and fatigue. If they're not on Theria, they should be. Any support that does not have inherent debuffs should have these. These are two of the best debuffs in the entire game. So teach these to any of your supports that are not debuff supports, like Theria.
I think Theria has it.
Sweet. So just bring them to the fights. Perfect. And you already got Glass Record, so that's sweet. There's Machine Equip because Blaze Garden. The HP up 4, like I said, I would teach at the bare minimum HP plus 2, HP max, HP 4 to all of your units, like regardless of who they are. Just teach it to all of them, so if you need some tankiness, you can toggle them on. Those are, like I said, those are my trifecta of making a unit beefier if they otherwise would die. And it has served me well so far. They are the most efficient of all the HP ups. 1, 2, and 3 are all not as much for the SC that you spend. So
Yeah, they don't look like a good bang for my buck as well. I was very hesitant into teaching the HP pluses other than 4 because you don't see a lot of difference. And then I started,
yeah,
thinking about the HP plus once I cleared the tower for the first time. And I was like, okay, should I do it? Oh, let me learn skill charge first.
I would also prioritize skill charges first. That's fair. But yeah, as your main thing was, future proofing and things like that. I think making sure you have the tools to kind of shift the scale between pure DPS and having like just enough survivability baked in to get by. Those are some important tools to have, in my opinion. So getting that taught to as many people as you can, just solid. In addition to slayers and these other damage dealing things. Heat Live is another thing you could throw on Theria potentially. Like if I don't think it's as valuable just because most units come with auto haste these days. But as we saw, Lug doesn't have it, so you could potentially throw it on there if you wanted to use them in a long fight. There might be better units in a long fight to actually use, but yeah. So just be aware, Heat Live is there, and it basically gives AoE haste to your entire team. It's haste phaser, basically. So that's a thing.
And those last to the end of the wave, right?
No. All buffs that you apply to units only last 40 seconds. You have to maintain them, but 40 seconds can be pretty long. And if you're running some of the arcs or accessories that increase buff time, that will get those effects as well. So you could probably get it to last upwards of like at least a minute, maybe minute 20, depending on what things you have, because certain arcs and accessories will extend that for you. So I think the Magic Mirror Ether Reward gives you an extra 15%, and then you can run things like, Let's see if you have it. You seem to have almost everything. Yeah, Velde Org. Um, let's. I suppose we can just go into it. This one, extra 50% on it. So instead of 40 seconds, that's automatically bumped up to a minute, and then an extra 15 seconds on top of it. So I mean, that's probably like a minute 10. But I don't tend to run these. I prefer, like, I usually will just go and maintain them myself. But still, it's an option, which is always good.
And I missed on the silver-haired swordman arc,
What about it?
and I missed on it because of Mithro
Okay.
and the giant slayer, if I'm not wrong.
Um,
Um,
it has. I think it has Sorcerer Slayer on it.
sorcerer slayer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you? So you're saying you don't have that arc?
I don't, unfortunately.
Okay. I don't think it's that big of a deal, other than the fact that it makes it a little bit harder to run hyper aggro in arena. But you have Luke, which means he already has Sorcerer Slayer built into him. So you can just make sure Luke is taking care of the enemy sorcerers, and everybody else can take care of everybody else. So it's fine. Probably not that big of a deal. But yeah, it's just one more thing for you to get excited about. Like, it's in the general pool, so you'll get it eventually, and when you do, awesome. Good times.
Oh yeah.
Soldier Slayer. So if you find, or if the meta shifts into a way where soldiers are super annoying, maybe you want to be able to deal with Baran and Nero and Lilibet and some of those like in arena, Soldier Slayer could come in really handy amongst the other Slayers on your units. Worst case, it's another Slayer, so just teach it to everybody. You never know when you need, different types of Slayers on everybody. Night Slayer, may as well teach it to everybody. Celestial Mass in Arena is super crazy, and in certain PvE stuff it's good too, so I see you're already leveling this, but that's definitely going to be worth getting up there, because Celestial Mass is huge to get on people for survivability. So, highly recommend. Especially if you wanted to make Kyle shift just slightly towards the tanky side while still maintaining some damage. One of the easy ways to do it is instead of running Sharp Eyes, you just put on Celestial Mass, and suddenly he's taking 50% less damage. He won't hit quite as hard, but his MP is going towards survivability instead of other stuff, which in theory should help keep other people alive too. So, yeah.
Yeah, because he's passive, right?
Yeah. So just in an option to be able to do, I put Celestial Mass on quite a bit of units in PvP. Sometimes I'll even put it on my casters if they have enough MP or enough regen, just because it feels like it makes them almost impossible to kill a lot of times. And as long as they can get enough HP back, or enough MP back to eventually cast a spell, then it can work. But yeah, let's see here. Literally everything on this arc is good. Teach it to physical DPS units. Maybe you want Axe High Boost on somebody. Now, I will say this isn't mandatory for breakers. I think when you have, the actual breaker skill on people, as well as running this arc, because if you make a break unit, you want to just put this arc on them, just automatically, and then probably have an axe. If you have an axe with this arc, you may as well run Axe High Boost, but I think at the end of the day, it ends up equating to like an 8% boost to break, even though it's 25%. Everything else gives you so many bonuses that compared to what it is prior, it's only about 8% extra. But it's a little bit there, plus if you're already running an axe for this arc, you may as well. It's still 25% extra physical damage, so yeah.
How does this then compare with, I think it's a Phoenix Blow?
Yeah, you could run either of them, to be honest. This one has 20% more break value on it, which translates to 40 when you're in dual wield. So, like, this one is definitively better for breaking, but if you want to use the other one, maybe the fight has a benefit to using, getting your ult back quicker or something, because the other one lets you get it when you're killing little mobs and stuff, then it could be good. But I think this one just offers more. Also, I guess Phoenix Blow is also good if you're having trouble hitting your damage cap. So if you just need a little bit extra to be more reliably hitting those 999 numbers, Phoenix Blow does have the flat 25% skill damage on it. So it's totally viable. I generally like to run this just because the only time I wouldn't be hitting cap might be because something's super duper beefy on the defenses. So like when we had the Naglfar fight, the fortress, where we basically had to break him to do damage. When you can get Pierce effects going and you have a support that puts defense down on him and you have buffs on your team, you can actually do pretty good damage before he's broken, and arcs like this help you to do it. So if you're running an axe and you get that piercing damage, or if you're just using a unit with piercing, things like that. So I like it quite a bit, but Phoenix Below I totally use as well. So either one is ideal on breakers. Sword high boost, super good. Aim vitals in general, I hate in PvE, love in PvP. You absolutely want all, like that's how you hit the really, really big numbers, is making sure that you have all the crit bonus, all the crit chance, all that stuff in arena. But in PvE, my mentality is always raise the non-crit numbers up so you don't have to build any crit. Because if you're hitting 999 with white numbers, you don't need to spend any points on crit whatsoever. So,
Good point.
yep. So that is how
It was like staple. If it can hold a sword, just put it, advanced aim vitals.
Yeah, well,
There
that's
you go.
so the thing is, that's basically what it used to be. Is everybody would recommend on all your physical DPS units, oh, you should be running crit, you should be running aim vitals, advanced aim vitals, they're top tier skills. But that was back when we didn't have all these damage multipliers, and people were not just hitting cap on the regular. So if people were able to crit and actually hit those damage caps of even basic, 10k damage, then it was a big deal. But now you can throw on Berserker, you can put on Maglion if they have ranged attacks, you can put on Sharp Eyes, you can put on Weak Point Boost, you can have, you can dual wield and have Sword High Boost with Machine High Boost, or Axe High Boost, or whatever. So you get multiple high boosts, you get all these other passives going on. You can have Break Boost, so if you are breaking units, you can have Break Boost for 7, that's another 30% damage only while they're broken. So you have all these other things coming in, and the math just makes it so that your white numbers can hit those big numbers, and you just don't need crit anymore. But in Arena, because of the way damage calculation works, it's actually really hard to hit damage cap unless you are built to abuse it, and you're using some of these busted units like Luxeus and Nero, and DeGrogue can do it pretty easily too. But yeah, so things like Aim Vitals, super good there. PvE, I hate it. I think it's a waste of SC. At least at the point in the game you're at, I feel like you have the tools on your account. You should be able to usually make your white numbers be hitting cap. Once they learn everything. Obviously, you have some training to do to people to get them to learn all the things. But, I mean, your account is so solid on the tools that you have available that I don't think it should be a big problem. Just in general, if you need to throw MP on somebody, MP up 3 and max are by far the most efficient. It's not even funny. So if you never actually looked at it, it only costs 2 to give a plus 12. MP up 2 also costs 2, and it gives like plus 8 or plus or plus 5 or something. Or no, I think up 1 gives plus 5, and yeah, I think that 2 is 8. So this is basically like literally 50% better. And then MP up 4 and max is the same scenario where I think they both cost 4 and max just gives much more. It's like a flat 20% or something. And I think it's only 15% for 4. So
Yeah, so 3 and max, right? That's the...
yeah, 3 and I pretty much always have 3 and max on any of my casters. It's very, very good. I mean, most of them will come with some anyway, but... And, I mean, I'll use all the other ones. I'll stack 1, 2, and 4 with them as well if I just really want to jack their MP through the roof, even though it's less efficient. But at the very least, I like to do those. Also, like I said, March, you have it, which is great. So Goddess Kiss, teach it to Lug. Pretty much, I don't know if you have it taught to many other people, but pretty much anybody that uses regular attacks well wants Goddess Kiss.
I can't say I did, because I looked at the skills and was like, okay, this is for mages, so
yeah,
I'm gonna teach
and it feels like
mages.
it. Yeah, the funny thing is, Goddess Kiss is really bad on most mages because it's confusing. I didn't know what this was before. If I see regular attacks have a chance to absorb 2% MP, that to me would read, I want to make my max MP as high as possible so that whatever 2% of my max is, I get that back whenever I get this proc. That's not what this means. This
Yeah,
says,
it's like attack a lot and get MP back, right?
yeah, that's what you would think is like the more hits, the more MP I'm going to get back, but it's not. The Do you know how Goddess Kiss actually works?
Apparently, I have no idea.
This is 2% of the damage dealt that triggered the effect. So if you deal uh, 10,000, like if you deal 10k damage with a regular attack because you just have stupid modifiers and the unit's just really good with regular attacks, like Lilibet can hit her damage cap with her regular attacks. Like she's stupid good at it. If you take 2% of like 15k or whatever her cap is, that's hundreds of MP. You literally go from 0 to full in one melee attack if this procs.
Oh my god.
It's really silly. So if you have like, old players have Honey Elixir, or if you happen to get the current arcs that you can get Apple Pie, you can literally just have an infinite farm of I'm going to get all my skill charges back, I'm going to melee a couple times with my regular attack, and then I'm just going to use it again because I'm just constantly topped up. So for long fights where you need to sustain MP, just test units. I recommend teaching this to all the DPS units, and then just when you're able to go in and just test their damage. And my goal usually is if I can get at least 50 MP back when this procs, like per hit, then it's usually worthwhile for me. People have told me Lug is very good with it. One thing to be aware of when you're trying to make this work is the weapons you have equipped can matter. I think Lug, people just run it regardless. It doesn't really matter. He's so good that it's fine. But when you have units that have like 3 or 4 built-in bonuses to a certain element, like, say, Medine, who has ice damage, or Lilibet that has earth damage, and she has these things that bump it up, if you just have a sword that does neutral damage and maybe Trishula, you're not getting any ice damage buffs. Or earth damage buffs or anything like that, because your regular attacks convert to those types. So you want to be aware and try to have at least 1 or 2 weapons that are actually matching your element if you have them running Goddess Kiss, so that you can actually get them to deal full damage on those. So just something to be aware of. Like on Medine, for example, sometimes instead of running the Pure Blade from Godforge, sometimes I'll put on the Icy Guardian sword. Because it's ice element, and it's very good in and of itself. So if I need to make my regular attacks better, matching your elements for most units is probably going to be helpful.
See, that's great, because that's the kind of information we don't have access through via game.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys that did all these testings, let's say we mere mortals here in the game, we have no means of learning this kind of stuff unless we like dedicate a lot of time to testing and seeing the differences.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that's something that I just started doing recently as far as the like matching my weapon elements, just because it used to be regular attacks just sucked all around. Most units just have bad regular attacks, especially the further and further back in history you go. But newer units have very good ones. Medine works with Goddess Kiss very well. DeGrogue can do well. I didn't test Nero much. I don't think he's super good. Lug is very good with it.
Because Nero's got his basic attacks just 2 hits and that's it.
Yeah, but the amount of hits doesn't really matter as much. It's the like multiplier that's on it. The amount of damage they could potentially do, because there's some units that you could put literally everything possible on to make their auto attacks good, and you'll be lucky to be hitting like 1,000 damage, where like their skills might be hitting 16k, and you're like, oh, this is great, but their auto attacks, no matter what you do, just always suck because they just have bad multipliers on them. Lilibet, I believe she has the best auto attacks in the game, like by far. I don't think that it's probably close. I'm pretty sure she just has stupidly good auto attacks. Ray, I don't have him, so I haven't tested. I don't know how good his are. Medine's is like...
Ray's regular attacks are very, very solid, as far as I could see.
Okay. Yeah, so if you can match with like some thunder weapons, like a thunder claw or whatever it might be, that could be solid. If Goddess Kiss probably pretty okay on him. Blaze Blade.
I believe that's the claw I have on him. I have his claw. I think it is. I think it's thunder.
Cool.
Race.
Nice. Yeah, so there's good enough ones in there for that. So that's great. Another thing that could be good on him, especially if you want to make him a little bit tankier in arena, is well, I guess more so. Say you're running the Kraken fight and you're looking to maximize his damage, right? Maybe in multiplayer. Run your lightning one that you have, and then from the High Dragoons arc, give him spear equip if he doesn't have it already, and give him the spear from that, because the spear is actually a lightning element as well, and it gives you a plus 10% to your SET recharge. And then if people are airborne, they get extra critical, but that doesn't really matter. That's more of a PvP or mobbing thing, but you get extra HP to survive a bit more. You get more defense to survive a bit more, especially against Kraken, where that the wave shift, having your defense high and his strength low, is really important. It's got over 200 strength as well, and then that plus 10% to SET. Like, if you're running him in Kraken, yeah, dual wield and give him this with it. Then your regulars, when he's recharging skills, both will be getting all of his damage multipliers. So do that. That sounds great.
I guess I should say goodbye to my Ethereum there, right? The potions.
I mean, you can just grind it. You don't have to waste all your Ethereum. If you want to, you can. I don't think it's that important. I'm just saying it's something to work towards. So, like, if you're ether grinding right now, there's a good one to put in. That's all I'm saying. It's a good one to focus on. How is your ether actually looking in general? Let's see here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. You have some things that are at. You've got a bunch of things at 100, so like you're doing stuff. I mean, a bunch of these are R's and things, but do you ether farm much at all? Do you
not quite.
Do you have an ether farming like team? Do you have a strategy for it?
You know, you know what I do? I just put Yashimaru and two other units I want to level, and
Okay.
then I put level one. I let me
Yeah.
remember what the arc is. I don't think I remember, but it's the arc that gives more gold.
Okay.
And I put that on him, and then whatever arc I want on the others, and
Okay.
then I just
So
go to bed.
okay, we can improve that, and I think that's probably the last main thing that I want to get you going on here is a better way to be auto farming. Just because the main reason to do something like an actual thief farm, like Yashimaru or Phantom Thief Robin or whatever, is if you need kind of those mid to low tier resources, which I don't think at your phase you probably need a ton. As far as like basic things that you could be getting in all of the stages, like the most important things it seems would be obviously Zell is good, Ether Progress, and probably unit souls to be building them more, and then maybe some XP as well for just some units. But I mean, you're doing pretty good on XP, but still slowly grinding them up is a good idea. Overnight, you will probably net more gold from just running Imperial Guard Commander 3.
Yeah, that's where I leave them at night.
Oh, okay. So you're on that stage, but you should be clearing much quicker than whatever Yashimaru can do, probably. And just accept that you won't get quite as many drops, but you'll do far more runs, which nets you much more progress. Like getting completions and the potential for more unit souls and ether, as well as probably Zell, is probably worth the drops you lose from not running Yashimaru, because you will probably. I mean, you could probably triple or quadruple your run times. Like, I don't know how quick you currently clear with Yashimaru, but I can only assume it's not very fast
It's not.
against those wizards.
He hits with a spoon.
Yeah, with your account, you should probably at least be on, like, worst case, probably like 8-second clears. Best case, probably like 2 or 3-second clears. Like, if you have the right stuff for it. So, let's see. Oh, beautiful. You love to see it. Stone World. So this you want to put on a mage. Have you seen my grind smarter, not harder ether farming video? by
I
chance?
did, because after
You did? Okay, cool.
3,700 years is instant, right? I
Yeah.
remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, well, it's much faster than all of the others. So like you should absolutely have this on like Zekis and just have him auto farming for you. He should be your main unit that you should be running. And because he has I believe he has auto recast, that means you can run it with Thief Bangle. So work on ether progress for this so that eventually like put this in your ether farming first amongst whatever other two things you want, so that you can get Thief Bangle. This is a 10% chance on kill to get an extra drop. So you don't need to run all of the cast speed stuff on him because he has auto recast. So this can be in his other accessory slot. So you'll just passively have, you know, an extra 10% of like potions and clusters and stuff like that. And he can absolutely be doing like a 3-second clear with this. Like, yeah. So, are you using Zekis for much right now? Like, do you mind if I like jack with his build?
Go ahead.
All right. Have you taught it to him? You know, have you taught him? You have. Oh, sweet. All right. I could just set him up for auto farming right now and just make you an auto farm team.
Oh, let's go.
All right, cool. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get rid of all the crap we don't want him to use. That's priority one. Give him the thing we do want him to use. Cool, cool, cool. I wish I had this boy. He's so cool. All right.
Do what?
What's that?
You wish you had what? Sorry.
Zekis in general.
Oh.
Just wish I had him. He's super cool. I don't think we need that. He's probably gonna hit damage cap anyway. Mimicry God, not sure why that's on there. I'm sure you were doing something fancy with him, but I don't care. I'm breaking all your things.
All right. It took me a while to realize that the build that we have outside of Arena is not the same that we have in Arena.
Ah, I see.
So
Fair enough.
I had it there for Arena,
Fair
and
enough.
apparently I forgot to, because nobody was running, God Killer in Arena in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right, that seems good. Seems all fine. You have tools for it. I mean, this is going to work just fine. You're totally going to work. But if you want to like boost his damage even further, you have access to Robe High Boost on the Bell Tower arc. So you can give him Robe High Boost. And then from Sandworm, which I just assume you have. Yeah, you do, because you've taught dual wield to people. That has Earth High Boost on it. So you can give him Earth High Boost to boost his Earth damage even further. This should be sufficient, though, because he's supposed to be quite the baller of a mage. This is probably enough. Like, I think this should totally slap. This looks fine. What else do you got, just out of curiosity? Int. Oh, you got Science Flag. Never mind. We're going to put that on him. Sweet. Absolutely going to be hitting cap now. So yeah, then whenever you are able to get Thief Bangle, replace Radmoon with it.
okay.
Put that in there. Do you have anything else better here? Technically more int there. What's this? That looks weak. That looks okay. Increase dark damage. Okay. Sure. I guess that's technically more int. May as well give him some more int. Cool. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and go into here. We're just gonna do a quick run, just see how quickly it goes. And this should feel much better when you wake up in the morning. Like, significantly better, I think. And when you can get Thief Bangle, it's going to be even better yet. So, all right, Groggy Mountains. Hard. Important to be on hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever, it doesn't matter. Which slot do you not care about?
This one, 9 is...
This 9?
Well, which one's the last? Usually, the last is my experimentation slot. So yeah, this is the one.
Okay, sure. So we go ahead and do Zekis. I have something. My brain is not working. There it is. All right, cool. So we're gonna do that. You already have pirate ship. Is there a specific ether reward you were wanting to work towards?
Oh, let's make this your call.
Okay. Well, I
feel all the responsibility.
Yeah, I assume most of these are not there already. Oh yeah, I can sort this again by ether. All right, let's do that. So that's up there. Yeah, we'll keep this here. Scroll through the ones you're done with. Cool. All right. So, trash. You already have better claws. Trash. Pretty bad. Don't care. Icy Guardian's a decent candidate. Sandworm's not bad. It's a stat stick, but it's one of the best stat sticks in the game. Which one is this? Oh, I can't even see. You son of a bitch. What is going on?
I think it's a robe, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, hold on. I want to go back out to... Yeah, but which robe? That is the question. There's a specific robe that I think would be... Well, no, because all your supports come with Auto Advanced Magic Circle anyway. You don't need it. There's one robe that gives you Auto Advanced, and on units that don't have it, it's the best robe in the game. Because Auto Advanced Magic Circle is so good.
Falls, Guyana Falls, or I think that's the one, isn't it?
Nope.
Guyana Falls.
No, this one gives like a reduction to ice damage stuff. I think it's you're close though, because that's ice stuff. The other ice arc is Veldeorg. I'm pretty sure it's on this one. Yeah, this one. It's one of my favorite robes in the game. Continuous MP regeneration. So that's the advanced magic circle. But I don't know what units you would actually need that on. Because pretty much all your supports already have it. So it could be good for like the... you could throw this on Tink. Like, it could be really good on her for when you go to do the dragon fight. But prioritizing an Arc Ether for one unit for one challenge, I don't think is that worth. Like, you don't need it for Theria or Zekis, and they're much more important units. So, yeah. All right, back to Arc Ether. Sorry, I'm squirreling all over the place.
Don't worry, man.
All right, so...
It's yours.
Icy Guardian. This sword, super good. I love it, and especially since you don't have Godforge stuff yet, it's even better. Throw it on Medines that are regular attacks are better. You can throw it on anybody else. In Arena, too, is really, really nice. It basically gives you a light Pose for Glory effect that stacks with Pose for Glory. Instead of 5 seconds that you get from Pose for Glory, this gives you 3 seconds on every kill. So you can get a total of 8 by putting both on your unit. So 8 seconds back per kill. Pretty good. Pretty good. March. What did March give? Godly Staff. Yeah, you don't need that. It's not that important. It's a stat stick.
Yes, just like the robe I thought it would give me.
Yep. Oh yeah, Rebel Dragoons. Totally worth putting that in there. So party, we're putting this in here. So yeah, I think Rebel Dragoons totally worth putting in for that spear. You don't have to burn Ethereum on it, but working towards it, probably good. I think things that can help you to more efficiently farm the multiplayer bosses is probably a good call. We're going to do that. We're going to bring this down because you do want Thief Bangle. So then we will look for what your third to focus on is going to be. Third to focus. Let's see. This gives you pretty decent armor that could be good on Al if you don't have it yet. This gives us super good stat stick of a hammer. Dune Dozer can be a pretty good one too. This is good for a fire mage, so if you use Zekis for fire magic, this is what you put on him temporarily. It's also just a good stat stick for Theria too. So this might be the pick. How good of staffs do you have right now? For like Theria specifically.
For her, I got the flag. That's what I use on.
Okay, that's not bad. I do think this is probably better since the only benefit she gets is the stats anyway. So you're basically just getting the MP. This gives you pretty, like, almost the same MP, but it also gives you, like, the highest mind attached to a staff. So it's a stat stick, but it's a good stat stick.
I think now I'm confused, but I think I've got. It's not the flag that I had on her. It's a different staff. It's
Is it a low level one by chance?
No, it's not.
No? Okay, we can take a peek. It doesn't matter much. I'm just trying to spitball a little bit. Do you have the need or want for having a unit be a tank, an actual unit that like draws boss attention so that you can do like backstab damage to them and things like that?
Well, I've got Rudo, but
okay,
I don't
so
know if he's still, I
All
was,
right.
after I got Rudo, I was like, I'm gonna make a total cancer team for like a total turtle shell,
Mm, yeah,
for
you
arena for
could.
experimentation.
You could. You have all the
So
pieces
maybe.
for it. Like we actually might be able to set that up since you don't have all the tools for the DPS thing. Like we could set your defense to be some cancer. As you get into higher levels and even just being in super in general, like it may not stop everybody that well now, just because um, people with proper cancer teams, one, are using Maiden's Lovely Banquet, so the fact you don't have it hurts you a bit, quite a bit, I think. And then also because of the spell render formation that I told you about, a lot of people are just running it, so it's much easier to burst people down, which means the turtle shell, like not let you get a single kill, doesn't work as good. And as long as they can snag one kill, usually you're not going to be getting a point yourself on defense if you're running pure cancer. So it's a little bit tough. But regardless, this is a good option because we talk about the Kagasuki or whatever, the Fire Sword arc.
Hmm.
That one is uh, like a super Godforge weapon. The only other super Godforge item there is actually uses this armor, and it makes the most broken armor in the game. So in PvP, the armor is going to be super crazy. You throw it on Kyle, it is his best in slot armor. Like, not even close. It is stupidly
Oh no.
powerful. So that's probably going to be a really solid pick. Oh, I am so sorry. That is not what I meant
Oh,
to click.
relax.
I am
Don't worry.
that feels bad. All right, so we're
I don't
probably
care too much about this, man. Don't worry.
yeah. I mean, you have a lot anyway, so I don't feel that bad about it. But still, it was an accident. All right, so we're gonna do that. I will still look and see what else you have though, just to be sure. But I think that's a good place to start because that's gonna help you in arena too. It's good armor by itself, but then as you are doing some multiplayer to try to grind stuff up, if you can eventually get to the point of making the actual Godforge armor, you'll at least have it already, so that you can do that. I clicked the wrong tab. All right. What else do you got that could be good? If you have a neutral damage dealer, like if you wanted to build up your Merity, get the Doom Dozer hammer. It's pretty solid.
Yeah,
Nah.
I believe that the only I was trying to get a Baron, right, but I failed miserably. So
Yeah.
my only neutral PDPS now is the silver hair guy. What's his name again?
Yeah, Balin.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, Balin and Merity. Merity is definitely better than Balin for just pure damage dealing. So if you end up wanting a neutral damage dealer, I recommend building her. She is a phenomenal unit.
Yeah,
She's she,
I remember using her once, and that was to cheese that device.
the mother fight.
Yeah,
Yeah, I recently tried doing it. I wasn't quite able to.
that was
But
super fun.
yeah,
It took
it's
me an hour, but it was super fun.
yeah. I probably spent more time than that, and I have not beaten it yet. Like I'm sure I can, but I got too frustrated. I'm just like, you know what? No, I've gotten it down to like 10% health multiple times, and I just couldn't quite finish it out. So, let's see here. The Theostaff's probably pretty good for either Zekis or Theria. So that's a good
Yeah,
option.
this
Oh, it
one
has no
this
MP
is
though.
nice.
No MP is pretty bad. That's kind of sucks. But I mean, attack magic up. Like you would put this on him for his auto farming, but again, his auto farming is going to be fine anyway. But this definitely has to be one of the best in slot for Zekis. Has to be. Probably you would run that with Science Flag on him, and then
Dual
like,
wielding?
I mean, if you want to do physical damage, yeah, because he's a super good physical damage dealer too. Yeah, good mages these days. The only way you're a good mage is if you can also do physical damage. It's
Go
kind of
figure,
it's the
right?
sad state of mages for the most part. Is like all of the best mages also are competent physical DPS. So,
I've got this almighty staff, but I'm gonna hit you with a,
yeah.
I don't know, with a hammer.
This one's decent. Again, you don't need it though. It gives you a light MP regen effect and then basic regeneration, but I don't think you need it with your account. I'd recommend it for other people. For you, not so much. Um, what do you have for Earth DPS? Like basically Shift Lil. Do you use her much?
I used to use her on PvP. But then I've got Ask Kyle, and
Okay.
I dropped her.
All right. Fair enough. I would say if you ended up wanting to use her in PvE, or maybe you get Ed and you need some survivability, this is like the best. Like this is an auto include on an Earth physical DPS. Increases your Earth damage by a little bit, but most importantly, the damage that you deal from anything, like even just your like skills, your magic, anything, you just recover as HP. So this is just self-sustain. Like this is going to be better than Proud Force, I think, almost all the time. So like I run this on Kohaku, I run it on Rabala. Yeah, anybody that does physical Earth damage, I run it on Logia too if I ever run him. So it is super good, but if you don't have a need for it, like, yeah. Because when you have him finish getting built, Luke's probably going to be your main DPS in like 90% of fights, I'd assume. Especially multiplayer stuff that has multiple waves, and you could just use Pirate Feast or busted
Yeah, just like
Post for Honor
like
stuff.
face roll over it, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's all the stuff I see right now. Oh, wait, this is the, like... This is probably okay in certain builds on in Arena.
Yeah, I did it on my alt account and I totally regret it.
Yeah. You said that you got it on your alt account?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I totally, because I made an alt account because I was so frustrated I could get V on this account.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept re-rolling until I got an account with a V.
Nice. Nice.
Just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And I've got it, but I regret getting that one. Because, you
Yeah.
got decoy, you've got some,
Mm-hmm. There's another one that if you're just looking to burst an Earth type damage dealer, again, if you happen to get Ed because you keep rolling or whatever, or if you want to throw it on Kahaku or Shift Lilibet, whatever, this is one of the best in slot. Just gives a flat 20% Earth damage boost, so that's pretty nice. I actually run this on my auto farmer for using after 3,700 years instead of a staff, because it just gives you a flat 20% buff. So that's pretty nice. Well, when I'm not running Science Flag. Science Flag's obviously better because it's plus 50% since it's a science spell, but otherwise I'll have that on. So, can be pretty good.
This will do good if I get Ad. Because I really want to get those collab units, because, as you can see, I don't have many collab units.
Yeah, you're definitely lacking in that department.
I fall in all the freaking baits they throw at me.
I'm the same. I have no willpower whatsoever. I do think more importantly than the units, like, is the arcs. Like, you're lacking a lot of the limited arcs, which is rough. Other than you have some of the most important ones, like Light of Science, Devil May Cry Mobile Office, absolute top tier, amazing to have on an account. You are missing things like from the ReZero collab. From Zero helps a ton in PvP. It's just super duper good. I had a different one in my head and now I lost it, but either way, From Zero is a decent example.
Right, the Banquet, the Mana one.
Yeah, the Banquet at least isn't like it's limited, but it should come back around because it's general. Like it wasn't from a collab. So like that should almost certainly become available to you at least, which is really great. The other one is just the current one. Getting that WAP. That, like, not having it, it's a bad day. Feels bad. I want it to. I haven't done my summons yet, but I will. That's all I care about. I could give a fuck about getting Ed. Like, he'll be neat, but this is what matters. This is 10 times more important than getting Ed.
Yeah, I'll be happy with whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually where I am at, too. I'm just like, you know what? I expect to get nothing, and then if I get something, awesome. I got new tools to play with.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Well, do you feel like you have at least some better direction on some goals to work towards as far as teaching and activities to focus on, stuff like that?
I definitely am. I will. Well, my list of priorities now are number one, do that farming team, get them busy. Right? Because
Yep. Oh, yeah, I was
right after that.
Yeah, I was going to run that team.
Pure Sword.
Yeah, I was going to run that team quick. Just make sure that it's working all right. Then, sorry, you can keep talking.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. And then I will work on getting the Pure Sword. After I get the Pure Sword,
Yep.
then I will work on teaching Luke the skills that I need, which right now it's Purple Orb, Celestial Mass, and Berserker.
Yeah, I think Celestial Mass probably doesn't matter as much on him. It was just a good thing to have called out for if you need
Mhm.
somebody to survive better. So
All right.
he already has multiple ways of using his MP. So Celestial Mass probably won't work on him that good. You just want mainly things to beef up his damage.
Yeah,
So
just have it there.
yeah, so
Right. Okay.
the other ones will be good.
Hmm.
So that's
And
good.
then to work on the arena to like can get gold one, right? For once.
Yep, the
And
best you can. At least start building units to get in that direction to like try to set yourself up to make a new team that can hopefully start pushing. You know,
yeah, and
that's more
I'm
so the
gonna
goal.
I'm gonna do what you said. I'm gonna do uh uh like a snowball or whatever
Yeah,
kind of overly aggressive
yeah.
arena team.
It can definitely work. Like I said, you are a ways out, so I would keep using what you got for right now. But you have the tools to make that effective. You have I think you have literally all the tools that you need to make that really good. Other than from zero helps, but I think you could probably be okay.
Hmm.
All right. What's a third unit that you either want souls for or want XP for?
Oh, let's put that robot.
Put the robot in there? Sure. Let's
Yeah.
start building it. Cool. All right.
Because why
Um,
not, right? I got one already built, one that's close to towards the end, and then now the little robot.
cool. We're gonna go ahead and put this on. That gives us our XP boost. Um, and then, oh, can I remember what it is? Do you remember what the gear is that gives you the Zell increase?
Oh, I think it's an arc that I was using.
Yeah,
It was
there's a gear that came with that ray thing too. Hold on one sec. Zell. Let's find it. Da, da, da. Sorry, I'm over on Goldmine trying to find some stuff here. Accessory, filter by accessories, maybe. Zell, 20%, maybe. Well, damn, there we go.
I've got that rabbit thing. That's
Yeah, a spacious
we
envelope.
we should
Found
put
it.
that in Zika's. What do you think? That rabbit?
Um,
Um.
you can. I mean, he's just doing it. I suppose, yeah, we can put in some, maybe put in some crit stuff. Because it's just on crit. So, like, that could be good until you get the other thing.
Ah, all right. Yeah. Well, then never
Okay,
mind.
we are looking
I
for.
forgot it was.
Okay, so this is what I would do. So instead of doing things like put on a special arc or whatever, you have both of these from an event. This gives you XP boost. This gives you Zell boost. I don't think that'll stack with the arc. So now your spider tank is now giving your team those effects.
Mhm.
So anytime you swap this out to somebody else, just put these stuff on them. So when you're auto farming, just put this gear on whatever unit you don't care about, and then you have that passive plus 20% to both Zell and XP. So
All right.
very nice.
Sounds good.
Very nice. But yeah, I'll agree with that. So we can come in here and we can put on, let's sort by, I believe, strength. And then we will find the Rabbit Labyrinth. Now the question is, do you have Earth Critical on him? Because I bet you don't. You don't. So it doesn't matter anyway. He's not going to be critting on it. Or does he have a passive that lets him crit with all magic? Is that a Zekis thing?
I think from ice magic only.
Only ice magic, okay.
Yeah.
So all these things do this. Regeneration effect, okay. Skills, passive skills. Let's see. What does he have? This, SNT recovery speed, convergence. Okay. Don't care, don't care. I see no other unique skills, so I don't think he has anything that allows crits. So yeah, if you go and you teach him Earth Critical, which I think is maybe on like a Sand Dunes arc or something, like the Sand Mirage Tower, I think might have Earth Critical on it. I don't know, my memory could be way off, but let's go ahead and see what this auto run looks like, see what kind of time you can get. I would guess somewhere probably between, I would say probably 4 seconds, but we'll see. Hopefully the AI casts right away for him.
That would be great.
It should. It should with how we have him set up. He should absolutely just cast it right away, but I've seen some AI do some weird things. It doesn't have 100% effectiveness, but 95% of the time it should work.
I can kill everyone, or I can throw a stone at them. Which one will we get?
There you go. And it's done. You're moving on to the next wave. So that's how
This
cool.
3,700 years was the one that saved me while I was doing tower. This magic, this spell, whatever science, whatever it is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's a very good spell. Yeah, so 4 seconds. Boom, nailed it. So there you go. So now your auto runs are going to be 4 seconds apiece, and you should be able to farm souls as well as your Zell, as well as Ether Progress much more efficiently. So great. You have something tangible coming out of here in addition to a list of crap. So beautiful. Love it.
You have no idea. 'Cause, when you just come and go, and then when you come back and you're like, okay, I cleared everything, so I don't know what to do, and I enjoyed the game, but I want to find ways of enjoying it, as I was before, because
Yeah.
I love the game. So what can I do to actually enjoy it now? Because other than just grinding my ass off.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you are getting close to that like more ender game point of like grinding is most of what you have to do with like multiplayer. And if you don't, like you said, your connections aren't that great, which sucks. Like for me, multiplayer is most of my time in the game now, just because I really love it, but I don't have the connection issues either. So that's really unfortunate. But because there's a lot of content there. But that and Arena are probably the biggest sources of content. Obviously, slowly leveling up some of those like off-brand units just so that you can complete those world boss fights. That is something, and then just slowly raise people up to 100. Get all of your arcs up to Ether 100. This will make that much easier. Assuming you have a similar setup with like a connection or phone speed as what I am with 4-second clears. You should. I think my average is usually should be looking at about 1% per hour to all 3 of your artifacts, or to all of your arcs. At least that's about the math that I came up with. That's about pretty on point. So I would say, yeah, at least 1%, maybe even 0.8% if you're unlucky. But yeah, roughly 1 an hour. You can test yourself and see how accurate that ends up being. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna leave it there for the entire weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get it to run the entire time, like, totally get it done.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it in my emulator because it seems like a better idea right now.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. Awesome, dude. All right, well, before
It's
we,
been great, man.
yeah, absolutely, I've had a good time. So, any other closing questions before we hop out of here?
Well, I don't think so.
No?
I
All right.
think you covered basically everything,
Nice.
and I don't. I believe that this will benefit like who watches this video, because this has been like uh, 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 an entire roadmap.
Yeah, I mean that's generally what these end up turning out to be. Is some of these are just like, oh hey, this was the equivalent of like 10 mini guide videos crammed into an hour if you're willing to listen to it.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's the goal. Is if one thing that I've learned, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's in a job or a video game or whatever, is like, people say no question is a stupid question. And the reason for it is if anybody is having a problem with something, there's a ton of other people with the same problem, no matter how stupid you think it is. Somebody else thought of the same thing or is struggling with the same crap. Like there's always people that have the same problems. It's not just you, no matter what it is.
Exactly.
So, it's always
I
good to
learned
just
that
share.
from my students.
Yeah.
I've been a teacher now for 16 years, and
Nice.
this is the lesson number one you get from all those teens and kids out there, is that if somebody asked, there's probably another 10 that have the same question, but they don't have the means to ask it. So
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. Well, it's been a pleasure. If you have any other miscellaneous questions as things come up, maybe you just forgot something or you come across something brand new you never thought about before, obviously hit people up in the Discord. We can probably help out. And if, in a couple months, if you wanted to do a follow up and just see where things are at, and if you need, help with either builds or oh, hey, I did these things, but it's not quite working, we can totally revisit and have a follow up if that's
That
something
would be
that you are
amazing.
interested in. So,
That
cool,
would be
dude.
amazing because I had a great time.
Me as well. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and close the video out. So yeah, it's been fun, icy, and go forth and murder things.
It's great, man. So, bye. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, man.